And if you want to have your own values, right, you have to configure your own Picklist ID and you have to maintain all the values as though you are configuring it from the scratch, right? You have to maintain all your IDs and you have to prepare the Picklist management data file, and then you have to load that Picklist management data file into the instance array. That is how it should be. It is not like straight away we don't know like what is the ID associated with respect to that, and we'll not be able to modify that particular IDs.
Meaning the existing values plus whatever we want to add. So we define the ID and load it with along with the existing values.
Yes.
Raghu,
yeah.
How did you get that Picklist column beside that label?
No, this is going to automatically will come like whenever you add this tag in the XML file. Let me, one second.
Raghu, can you show us with an example for this gender one? It would be clear.
No, do it yourself, guys. I right now I showed you right how to do it. You can see right now you don't see the column, right, Rupesh? You don't see the Picklist ID column here. And whenever you are going to add any field, it's not only hobbies. Let's say if you want to, add review frequency as a Picklist field, go ahead and add. The moment you add this tag, right, which states that you are defining a Picklist, you are starting a tag with Picklist, and you are providing ID over there, and you are closing the tag. That's it. The moment you do that, right, if you go to table view, you will see an additional column here. You see? Right now we added to the review frequency, and the label, you can go ahead and configure your own label, guys.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. So that is how it will come. Like say if I am going to remove it, that's it. The column is going to be removed. Now if you load this data model without the Picklist ID, right, that field is not defined as a Picklist, guys. It will the property associated with the Picklist for that particular hobbies field will be gone. It will be displayed as a blank field, and based on the write or read permissions, whatever you granted, right, you will be able to update data, or you will be able to read only that particular data, guys. And as a
for the Picklist, like if you have exported. So once you exported the whole Picklist, like let's say there are around 140 new Picklist, right? And you are adding 141, right?
Yep.
So by mistake, if the consultant or whoever it is doing it, by mistake he deleted 140, he added the one which he wanted to add it, and he imported it.
No. In that case, you should process that as a delta, which means that that particular value is going to be a new entry.
Yes, but by mistake he has did that one. So he deleted 140, he added one, and instead of update, he said that everything is new and imported it, right? So let's say this is in a production. This happened and we don't have a copy of those Picklist which has been configured in the production in our queue environment. So what is the backup plan? So
no, one second, let me come here. No, backup, just to answer your generic question, right, backup you can always depend on the support team. They have the backup of your data, at least like the records, whatever you delete, right, for the past 15 days, they have the backup of your data. That is what's first thing, like even if you delete something that's by mistake, right, even if you delete a couple of employee records, you can get the backup from SuccessFactors support team. One second, guys. You can always rely on them. That is the first thing. Yeah. And we need to be a little bit careful about like how you are going to import the data or how you are going to manage the data.
Yep, I understand. But I think sometimes if it happens,
Yep.
Normally there is a backup plan for normally the SAP point of view. There is a backup data, everything. So we know that there is a backup of certain date or certain time.
Yep.
So it's good to know. So 15 days, they keep a backup log of 15 days. Is that what you're saying?
For the first 15 days, if you raise a case, right, immediately they will be able to restore it. Let's say if you want to restore it 1 month back, right, that is going to take time. Because,
when you say restore, I just want to ask one more question on that. So let's say there is a performance review cycle is going on, right, and we are in the middle of the performance review cycle.
Yeah.
And it's almost done, let's say, and we lost these kind of a pick list or some other things, right?
Hmm.
We don't want to restore the whole system because we will
Yep.
lose
Yep.
the data what the
Yep.
performance manager. So is it individually for each module or each section it can be restored, or is it from the system wise?
No. See, restoration happens like say either record wise. Let's say you lost a record, which means that say the performance details of a particular employee. Yes, you will be able to restore that.
Okay.
And say you lost the complete data. Let's say you lost the complete employee record itself. Yes, you will be able to get all the data of your UDF file.
Okay.
Say because of some reason you lost all the objects data in the system. Yes, they will be able to restore the complete system as well, Srini.
So I think basically this would be a P1 and we have to make sure they do it immediately.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what, like, whenever you came to know that, right, you had to raise a case and get it restored.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Raghu, in the data model, these pick list or PII, all these attributes, are they standard in XML or like, I know that in DTD file when I was going through it today, I saw there was a lot of attribute list where they declared it there. Is that the standard one, or how do we know what is the attribute text that you have? Like yesterday I just inserted alias and it was working. So how does the system recognize these attribute IDs?
Now see, how system recognize that ID is like no one knows.
Okay.
That might be the programmer who developed the platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
He knows that what are the possible values and how system recognize that. He understands that.
So, but now let's say, how would somebody know that the attribute PII is for the sensitive field? Is it with the experience on XML or?
No, it's not. It is nothing to do with XML or nothing. It all depends on the SuccessFactors documentation.
Okay, and where is this documented? That PII stands for like you can keep it as a sensitive field.
I sent you a PPT with respect to your Picklist management. Yesterday we opened that, right? It has all the information with respect to the Picklist management.
Yes, I actually went to it and it said that in DTD file is where it actually defines all the attributes.
No. See, the cross-checking is going to happen with your DTD. So whenever you are configuring something, right, it will check with the DTDs to see that that particular thing is available in the data definition or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what needs to be configured is like you are going to get that from the first thing, like you have to depend on the documentation.
Okay, so you're saying that in whatever the mastery documentation that you have sent, that says that these are the attributes that are standard in standard used in SuccessFactors. That's what you're saying?
Yes, and it's not only it's not only the introduction to master documentation. Anyhow, like when you are going to work on the Employee Central, right, you are going to work extensively on the XML files, and then you will know that what are the other technical properties of the fields and what is their syntaxes and all those things, Smita.
Okay, no, but my only question was like, how do I know what to exactly use for that? Like, I can, instead of matrix filter, I can just use filter, and I'll just use matrix. So, is that going to throw an error, or it's okay?
No, it is going to throw an error. Whenever you are going to load that into the provisioning system, right, then definitely it is going to throw an error. Because it doesn't understand
what should I correct
it. That is what I am telling you, right? You have to look at the documentation. You have to see any programming language also. How do you know the syntax?
Right. So I know it doesn't understand. So your voice.
No, my voice is not breaking. I just kept quiet. See, how do you know the syntax is like? You have to follow the language reference. Once you follow the language reference, then only you know like what syntax you have to use in the files and where you have to use and in what fashion you have to use.
Okay, and where do we get that language reference in a sense?
No, with respect to the Picklist, right, or with respect to your XML, the one that I gave, especially with respect to your Picklist, what are the possible values, what value is going to be defined, what are their syntaxes. That PPT has all the information, Smita.
Yes, I know that. I saw that. But My question was just that on all these max-length and required and matrix-filter, these things, these attributes, how do you know what is standard defined? Where can I refer it? Like, I want to add an attribute. Let's say I didn't know that for making a SSN as a sensitive field, it's called as PII. So how would I add that attribute in the code, like in the XML syntax, I mean? How would I know to add PII only? Like, where is it defined that PII is doing this? Matrix-filter is doing this.
No, one second. Let me come back to you. See, that it's all depends on, like, that is the reason, like, you are taking training, and say if everything is going to be documented, or if somewhere, like, they will tell you that do SSN as PII is equal to true, right? You don't come back to me also. It's not.
No. I'm not saying it should be documented as SSN is equal to PII. What PII stands for is PII makes the field sensitive. So we should know that. We should know what attributes to use when you want to do something, right? So I'm saying, how would we know that this is the PII we need to use?
One second.
Okay, I can answer that question.
Hold on a moment.
Basically, that is defined by the client.
I don't think he said that it is defined by the client.
No. I think you
One
have
second.
to maybe the implementation guide or the I think some documentation.
Let me open the Employee Central Implementation Guide. That it should be there. All the properties.
That document will give you the detail of what is available, what are the different options. I guess only the partners have access to those implementation guides. So for each module.
No, one second.
That guide will tell you step by step what you can do.
What possible values and what based on that understanding, right? You have to use based on your scenario or requirement, Smita.
That I got it. I know that I need to know what exactly I need to use this attribute for in this scenario. So that I was just having that question in my mind. How do I know what attribute is for what?
Yep. I'm one second. Let me. Yeah, you can see here. Likewise, they are giving an example in the Employee Central. Yes. It is a part of your Employee Central. That is the reason I told you, right? You are going to work extensively on the XML files in your Employee Central system. It's not. You're just trying to understand, like, what is it, how you are going to. Here also, like, you can see here the visibility of the fields, and it's not like straight away they are explaining things, but they are using a couple of examples and they are explaining. You can see here true or false. Attribute PII, which is going to carry true or false. Yeah, this is your reference. Your Employee Central is the one that is where we are going to work extensively on the data models, guys.
Okay.
But are you going to share this document? Or,
Oh yeah, I'll do that, guys.
So Raghu, this is Ajay. A question here.
Yeah, Ajay.
Most of the times in SAP HR we have everything by date driven. So we have hire date, and for all the actions we have dates.
Yeah.
So where do we define those dates here?
No, you can see in the talent management system we don't have any effective dated concepts, Ajay. Employee Central is the system where you see the effective dated entities. Each and every object, whatever we see in the Employee Central system, right? Just there is an associated start date with respect to that particular entity, Ajay.
So just to understand, so far when we in talent management, when we created the users, these users had no dates.
Yeah.
So will we be putting their hire date etc. in Employee Central system then?
No. Hire date is part of your UDF file. But say you are promoting an employee, from which particular date it should be effective, right? That concept is not available in your talent management system.
Okay.
And that is that is a core thing in your Employee Central system.
Meaning all the employee life cycle activities will be part of the EC.
Yeah, EC, yes. Yeah. Because that is your core HR system, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So if any company...
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. 1 second. You are asking something. Yeah.
If any company is using only talent management, then they don't have they will not have the dates, etc.
Yes.
Only once they start using EC.
Yes, that is when you have you can utilize the concept of effective date.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.